What's up, guys? Jay Zhang here with you of Against the Grain and Zhang Nation. Never mind the spooky music in the background. We'll talk about that later. Today, I want to do something a little different than I usually do. My last few podcasts have been pretty educational. We talked dark psychology about a month ago. We did Christianity in different churches a few weeks ago. Today, our education is going to go to a different level. Now, before I get started, I will say I've been working on a lot of philosophy and stuff like that lately for my classes that I'm taking. Around 500 BC and before and around that time frame. We've been talking about the first philosophers. Anaximander was one of the first. He wrote On Nature, which is one of the first Greek philosophy pieces. Anaxagoras, he was a Greek teacher in Athens. He was actually prosecuted for his ideas that rejected the existence of lunar and solar deities. He was one of the first that started to move from myth, which is mythos, into logos, which is reasoning. We talked about Parmenides. He trusted reason over the senses. His work recognized the autonomy of thought and used independent criteria for judging thought. So yeah, I'm deep into philosophy right now, and I'll be doing astronomy soon. But, that stuff gets boring, so I wanted to get off topic of that and play around with some other stuff. Hence the creepy music. So, right when this philosophy stuff was going on, this boring philosophy business, I'm just playing, in Greece, let's travel west. And I mean way west of Greece. Let's come right here to the United States. We had Native Americans here long before old Columbus came over and sailed the ocean blue. So around 500 BC over here, while over there's all kinds of philosophical schools of thought. You have different Native American, Indian cultures going on over here, including the Adena. The Adena still has its name here in Ohio. If you ever get down to like Chillicothe and Waverly and everything, you will hear the name Adena thrown around a lot. There's a whole healthcare system, different hospitals and medical centers and urgent cares named after the Adena culture. They were pre-Columbian Native American cultures that existed around 600-700 years during the woodland period. They were a lot in Ohio. They also stretched into parts of West Virginia, Northeast Kentucky, and Pennsylvania. So they were big. They were during the woodland period. They have a few mounds, and today there's a mansion. There's the Adena Mansion in South Central Ohio, named after them. So that's a pretty big name. If you've heard of the Adena culture, the Adena Indians, then you might know a little something about them. If you know anything about lore, then you will know that a lot of Native Americans, after their death, their spirit lives on. And if you know anything about spirituality and some of the dark sides of spirituality, you will also know that cannibalism was practiced by a lot of different people. I'm not saying the Adinas necessarily, but different Native American tribes, different peoples all over the world would take part in that terrible practice of cannibalism. It is said when you eat someone and you devour them, you gain their power. You gain their power. So the more people you eat, the more you crave, and the more power you crave. And eventually what happens after death is you become a Wendigo. What do we know about Wendigos? They're very big in West Virginia and parts of Appalachian, Ohio, and Kentucky. Giant, humanoid, Algonquian Indian, Adena, different First Nations, Algonquian speaking a lot of the time too. Monsters, creatures with sharp teeth, claws, lips. Their eyes are sunken in. They have a foul odor. They're fast. They have amazing eyesight. And they haunt West Virginia. This is real. They originate from humans who transform due to greed, weakness, inner turmoil. It's said that believing in becoming one and dreaming of being one, prioritizing that over yourself can end up leading to the transformation. The Wendigo legends are cautionary tales about the dangers of selfishness and isolation. Yet there's still Wendigos everywhere in West Virginia, hiding throughout the mountains and the hills of Kentucky and parts of southern Ohio. Many of them, like I said, are Algonquian-speaking First Nations in North America and Adena Indians. Now, why am I talking about this? Have you ever been to, or have you ever heard of Camden Park? Camden Park is a theme park. Think Kings Island, except a lot smaller. They have about 30 or 40 rides. They've been around for a long time. It's in the Huntington area, which I'm very familiar with. They have the Big Dipper. It's a wooden roller coaster. They have a classic wooden carousel, the Little Dipper, which is a small one. Think of the Beast and the Beastie at Kings Island. They have the Whip. They have the Log Flume. They had the Thunderbolt Express. The Thunderbolt Express was a roller coaster that, well, it malfunctioned. And they ended up closing it down in 1999 and scrapping it in 2004. But the reason being is because there's also a haunted house in Camden Park. And in this haunted house, it is said that there were Wendigos there after hours. And these Wendigos were walking up and down US 60. They were walking through Camden Park. They were walking through the haunted house. And that they are the reason that the Thunderbolt Express malfunctioned. They wanted death. They wanted people riding that ride to be harmed and die so that they could devour those souls. That's crazy. Luckily, the spirits of one of the friendlier Native Americans was able to alter the course of history in 1999. And instead of a bunch of people dying on that coaster, they were able to shift the winds so that the malfunction was realized and the ride was shut down and people were helped off before it started traveling too fast. So luckily, in addition to Wendigo's giant, scary, spooky spirits, there's also good spirits helping out, and no one was harmed at Camden Park.
Nestled in Huntington, West Virginia, Camden Park isn't just a classic amusement park. It's a place shrouded in mystery and haunted whispers. From ancient burial grounds to ghostly apparitions, this park is more than just fun and games. Built in 1903, Camden Park is home to an Adena Indian burial mound, an ancient structure said to house restless spirits. Visitors have reported chilling sightings of ghostly Native American figures.
Wendigos.
Some even describe visions of one chasing another with a knife. But the haunted history doesn't stop there. The park's iconic haunted house ride, one of the last gravity-fed pretzel rides in the country, has its own eerie energy. While it's designed for scares, many say the real terror lies in the unexplained shadows and cold spots felt by riders. Even outside the attractions, guests and staff have reported unsettling phenomena. Faint whispers in empty corridors, flickering lights, and a sense of being watched.
So it's said that it's a nice haunted house and amusement park, but it's also a portal to the past, where history, the supernatural, and the present collide. That's crazy. That's crazy.
Solomon, cryptid analyst, 102577. Wendigo witness report. Ooh, this is a spooky tale. Okay, so this is my own personal sighting.
Sugar Grove, West Virginia.
This past week, enjoying some well-deserved R&R. I guess I can never really be off the clock, though.
A little bit further northeast in West Virginia than Huntington.
I thought it was some old coat, you know? I was moving pretty fast, so I was just trying to avoid it. Anyhow, it just unfurled as I get close. Must have been 10 feet tall, but just all skin and bones like a dead dog. It had a deer's skull cracked open in its hands from the fresh kill it was eating. And as I go by, I get this powerful cold feeling through my bones.
That was an account from October of 1977 when one was spotted in Sugar Grove, West Virginia. So yeah, that was the reason for the creepy music, and that was a fun way for me, and a spooky way for me to get away from philosophy for a minute. Goodness, philosophy can become so dry. So you know a little bit about Wendigos now. Be careful if you're in Appalachia. You're down here our way, out here in the hills and the hollers, especially at night. Mind your P's and Q's, because these things, you know, it's a lot of lore, but a lot of lore is lore and has been carried on through the years because there's a lot of truth to the lore as well. And Camden Park is no joke. So go have fun there, but also be prepared for an Adena Indian adventure. And that's all I have to say for now. I will post another one soon. I'm going to get going now and go on about my day. Hopefully you enjoyed this. Until next time, as always, take care, stay safe, especially from them Wendigos, and God bless.